Okay. So I'm calling this meeting to order. Can we get the minutes up, Mandy, so we can approve them from last meeting?
Yes, we can. Oh, can you let me screen though?
Yeah, here we go. Maybe, oh wait, am I sharing my screen? Oh, hold on, now I don't know what's happening.
It's okay.
Oh wait, here we go. Here, I'm gonna make you the co-host. And then maybe you can.
Yes, I want to continue.
Except I'm sharing my screen. Hold on.
I think I got it. I think.
There we go.
All right. So here are the minutes from last meeting. These will all be linked on the website. So I'm just going to go through it real fast because the biggest thing was Ken last week got last month, excuse me, got the PTA YouTube up and running. So later in here, I kind of hyperlinked to the YouTube page. So if you missed it last month, you can go ahead and watch the entire meeting. It's on YouTube, along with a bunch of other helpful resources. So here we go. That's it. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I've moved to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second?
I second.
All right.
Awesome.
So the minutes are approved and can be posted. Okay, Amy, can you show us the Treasury report? Do I need to make you the co-host so you can share your screen? All right, you're muted though, Amy.
Okay, sorry. We had very little activity last month in terms of anything. The only things that we had last month were our normal banking fee. We got some money from art framing, and we had some new donations and new members. But other than that, that was it. We are going to have a check going out shortly for the Eco Club grant funding, and we're still waiting on numbers for on the final amount for the 4th grade books. Other than that, I think that once all that's gone out, Vanessa will coordinate to get new grant requests out for the spring.
Yep, that's my plan. All right, do we need to vote to accept this, or is that just a report?
It's just my report.
Okay, there we go. All right, Mandy, did you have anything to report? I don't see Ken here, so I don't think the president-elect is going to have anything to say because he's not here.
Nothing new from me.
All right, how about Jen? Do you have anything new from membership? I know you were working on a lot of initiatives.
Hi, yes, welcome. Happy New Year, everybody. My name is Jen. I oversee all things membership. I joined as a PTA officer a couple months ago, so I'm still learning its role and responsibilities. But for tonight's membership update, new membership and engagement has steadily increased since December. Nothing too crazy, but an increase nonetheless. I'll take it. It's in membership perspective. I've completed personal thank you notes to each member, as well as I'm putting together a newsletter to somewhat update our current membership base, and the timeline for that is about 30 days. Our membership as of right now is made up of 65% parents and 35% teachers. From a new member perspective, on Friday, we will be distributing a membership packet by email to all families, teachers, and even local businesses. The packet, I hope, will clarify exactly what PTA is, why our school needs PTA, and highlight some of the member benefits. Lastly, tomorrow, I plan to send a link for families, parents, and school admin, a PTA survey that I hope will help us identify areas of celebration as well as areas of improvement. It will also inform our planning for this year and set the tone for next year. The survey will be open for a week. I will close it after a week. It's completely voluntary, and it's safe and completely anonymous. So I encourage everybody to share candidly. To avoid building in vain, it's extremely important that we understand the unique characteristics of our community, right? And so as we try to plan and finish this year out strong, event-wise, program-wise, we really can't do that until we fully understand our immediate community needs. So please fill out that survey. It's not too long, it's not painful, I promise. And in full transparency, I plan to share the results at our next meeting. Just a couple reminders, you can join PTA at any time during the school year. Membership does expire at the end of the school year, but I'll do my best to send a reminder out to renew when that time comes.
I think it actually expires in October. I don't know how important that is, but that way you can get rolling in the new school year and everything.
Very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for all of that. Did you have anything else? I'm not cutting you off. All right. I think we lost her. Dan, do you have anything from fundraising? I know we haven't actually started anything yet, so I don't know if you have anything to report.
Just a quick update on everything. Hi, everybody. My name is Dan. I am also new to this, so I am getting my feet wet with everything as well. Fundraising side, we're starting to set up plans for the new year coming in. As Jen mentioned regarding that survey is extremely important. Your feedback on that survey is actually going to give us some really good starting points on what we're going to look for. We're going to work with any interest, any ideas. We are 100% open to that. So, come strong, and we always are looking for help, for volunteers, and we just love creating more and more with everybody. The events will be coming after that survey, and we'll start putting out some dates. We'll start voting on some things. And just a quick plug, Amazon Smile is doing good. If you guys aren't aware of that, it is a program that we work with on Amazon where the PTA actually gets some donations back off of any purchase that you make. And all the money we get from fundraising goes towards programs, events, everything to actually help better the school for the children, for the teachers. We work towards paying in some grants that you heard about, like regarding the books for the 4th grade classrooms and many other after school activities and things. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much. I want to go ahead and get started, turn it over to Chad. I know people have a lot of questions, and then we just have a little bit more new business after that. So don't leave while Chad is talking, because then you'll miss.
If you want to, that's fine.
Oh, okay, well, I'll leave it up to Chad. If he thinks you can leave, then you can leave. But go ahead, Chad.
We are in perpetual Groundhog Day, I feel like. I think Leslie and I have prepared to bring kids back, at least pre-K and kindergarten. I think we're on 4 times now. So every time we really get geared up and ready to go, it's put on pause. So the February 2nd is the school board meeting where the school board said that they would, basically at that point, look at all the numbers, look at where everybody is, the vaccine handout, and take into account all those the different facets. There's three different kind of tools that they're using now. It's the infection rate per 100,000. It's the percentage of new infections, and then also they've created a mitigation kind of the mitigation what do I want to call it? I guess tool. It involves not only each school's ability to implement all the mitigation strategies, but it also takes into account if there are gaps in staffing, or could be individual, or it could be as a school system. Also, it involves infection rates or new cases within the school system itself. Now, obviously, with nobody being in the buildings, except for a very few of us, the infection rate in the buildings is going to be down. Going into the break, we did have 3 staff members in our preschool program test positive. No children tested positive, but 3 staff members did, and but it was right before they closed everything anyway, and so everybody went through that process. Everybody stayed pretty healthy, and their quarantine time expired over the holiday break. We learned a little bit from that piece that will certainly help us when we do bring kids back. One of the things that, now that we've had kids in the building for really since the beginning of the year with the SRS program, and then the end of September or so with preschool, when the teachers, when they're around the students and our cleaning procedures are doing a great job of wearing the PPE, wearing masks, using gloves when it's appropriate, the gowns when it's appropriate. And so we've had no transmission or infection rates from student to teacher. That piece of it, and we did have a student test positive because of a home situation, but even then, because the student they were in school during their infectious period, but they were wearing masks, the classmates were wearing masks, and with the cleaning policies, it stopped with that one child. And really the same with the adults. The adults kind of, and we've started already talking to our staff. Our staff has a huge comfort zone with each other. And I really came down to letting their guard down in conversation and some of those social, lunch and that between each other. And as a staff, I think that will be a battle just because we are so comfortable with each other. And it's very trusting within the grade levels and across the building. So we definitely learned a little bit. Leslie and I have already started putting together some new procedures. As we get closer, we'll be going back through with all the staff members, some of the different pieces we've put in place as a result of that. So that, if there's a silver lining, I think, we certainly saw how easy it was if we didn't, let our guard down just a little bit, that it could spread. But I do think we're almost, actually, I'm looking at Leslie and I'm thinking we did finish 5th grade rooms. We went through, and this past week, every single classroom at this point is, from a skeleton standpoint, set up and to CDC regulations. And we've accounted for every student, whether it be Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, Friday, to come back, have their own space within the classrooms. And our teachers, actually, I cannot take credit for this. It was our primary 1st and 2nd grade teachers came up with a brilliant idea to use alongside each desk we have the 2-shelf bookshelves. So each student, the top bookshelf, if they're sharing desk, would be for, let's say, the Tuesday, Wednesday kids. There'll be Velcro covers made that will be put over that. So when the Thursday, Friday kids come in, the bottom shelf of the shelf would be their stuff. And so there's no mixing of that. And everybody, it really, from what we've seen with the kids and just playing around with a little bit, by having it set up like that, it really has created their own space for the kids. So we're actually really pretty excited about that. We'll take some pictures once the teachers get back in, and we don't have the technology in yet. We have monitors, but the larger cameras with a better speaker system and that piece of it, microphone system, we're hoping they come in actually next week. Once we kind of have that all set up in the next week or so, we'll take some pictures and send them out to the community just so they can see. We have all the hallways. We have still have the 3rd, 4th grade hallway and upstairs to do in the hallways on the floor, but we have we have markers on the floor to mark 6 feet for all the kids when they're walking in the halls. We're going to be walking down the middle of the hallways so they're not touching doors and walls and that piece of it. The custodians have some, they're pretty regimented. It's actually really hard for them to keep up, but a really strong cleaning regiment. We're going to try to do the bathrooms when our primary kiddos, when they go to lunch and recess. Each day there's almost an hour block for grade levels. So we feel like we can at least get in and quickly clean bathrooms and sinks in each of the classrooms. Upper grade students will be eating in the classroom. Lower grade kids, we have figured out a way to eat in the cafeteria we have about 8 to 10 feet between each student. They're all facing in the same direction. All the seats are marked. Everybody has an assigned seat, but we'll be able to do, because we really won't have any more than 30, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Malkowski, I think it's 32 kids is the max we have in any one grade level on a 2-day period. So let's say on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, no grade will have more than 32 kids there on those 2 days. And then Thursday and Friday, again, the same. Thursday and Friday our numbers are a little bit lighter because we grouped our siblings in that Tuesday, Wednesday. So we have all siblings going on the same 2 days, just for the sanity of our parents and trying to remember who does what. It's going to be hard enough. The same just for us, our sanity too. We kept all the siblings on the Tuesday, Wednesday days, and then filled everybody else in Thursday, Friday. So it really does boil down to we have about 50% of each grade level that is going to come back into the classroom. If parents are still concerned, because there is a new strand out there, we know there's some delays still in vaccine. I did clarify this because we had a question come up from a parent earlier this week that if or at the end of last week, sorry, if a family would like to go from in-person back to virtual, we can accommodate that. The numbers, though, because of busing and everything else, to go from virtual to in-person are pretty much locked. So we have flexibility to go back to virtual, but not forward to in-person at this time. Let's see. We will probably, once they do give us the green light to start, we're going to probably start with preschool again and preschool and PAC, our preschool autism program and our regular preschool special ed program. And then it'll be pre-K, kindergarten, followed by the next week of first, second, the next week will be third, fourth, and then
I just wanted to see what it was.
that following week there with fifth. So it'll probably take us, 4 or 5 weeks to get everybody into the building and going. The kids for the first 3 cohorts, so pre-K, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, those groups when they come back will for the most part stay with their class in class cohorts other than lunch. You're shaking your head, Leslie. What am I missing?
Because it's cohort 7, which is 3rd grade.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay. They changed the cohorts on us. So pre-K and 1, 2 will stay in with their classes. They won't. So even for small group pullout, we're not mixing classes through those cohorts. And then once 3rd, 4th come back, and then 5th, those groups, that's, as Leslie said, that's cohort 7. So 7 and 8, when those groups come back, we can then begin pulling groups from different classes, and we're going to do our best to keep them as, not isolated, but with their same group all the time and not cross groups too much. But we will, teachers, our special ed teachers, our ESOL teachers, just general grade level
Advanced
teachers, advanced math, and even for chopper time, do tend to mix groups. So they have like groups of kids that are working on the same skills. So at that point, it makes it much easier when we can grab 3 or 4 kids or 2 or 3 kids out of multiple classes to address the same thing. So whenever they do start us back, we'll keep everybody updated kind of on that front. I feel, and I'm sure Miss Malkowski, she'll disagree with me if she doesn't, but I think we've tried to really think of all the little areas and small spots that may cause us issues. And really, I think at this point, our biggest concern is, if we do get multiple staff members in a grade level who all of a sudden test positive, just trying to deal with how do we keep the continuity of instruction somewhat moving forward if we have to shift to a virtual setting as a class or 2 classes for some time. And so that's going to be a challenge just because there's a shortage of subs out there. And we have 9, I think I mentioned this previously, we have 9 staff members that were designated as a tier 1 health risk. So they're going to be primarily virtual the whole year, which is great because we are going to need help online as well as we go to this concurrent model. But it does, when all of a sudden we're a smaller school with a smaller staff, and all of a sudden when you have 9 bodies out of that equation, it tends to be a lot of planning. So it can get disrupted pretty quickly. It wouldn't surprise me if Miss Malkowski and I end up teaching a class for a couple days. Which
I thought you were going to say get sick, and I was like, wait a minute.
No, teach a class. So if you want
I'm
entertainment,
getting a vaccine.
find the day that I'm in a class, and there you go. We'll put on a show there. But we're excited to get the kids back in the building. We really are. And it's a frustrating year for everybody. I know with my own 2 knuckleheads here, I can hear them. I told them they had to lower their voice. They're still not doing a good job. I hope you can't hear them. But Leslie has her kids, and it's hard. It is so hard to be a parent in this environment. And we truly understand that, flexibility that's how we all make it through here is, having a little grace and empathy for each other and just being flexible. And that's what we've told the staff. And, I haven't heard that I think that teachers are doing a pretty good job at kind of meeting the needs of their individual classes. So I did want to give Miss Malkowski some time because she has some testing updates and kind of can go through what we're.
Do you want to have maybe a couple questions first, and then I'll move into some testing
Okay,
stuff?
that's fine.
Because it's really thrilling. I know everybody's going to be really excited to hear.
Is there a,
Questions is about testing, so.
Oh, okay. So do you want me to go first?
oh,
Well, let's see. We've got 2 questions here in the chat. Are we fully staffed with classroom monitors?
we had a monitor. We were up until January 2nd, and then one of our monitors, at least when I talked to her, said it was a family situation. So we are still looking for one more monitor. It's an hourly. If anybody's interested, let us know. It is paid hourly. We can be flexible. If you're a monitor, like the teachers, your kids can be in school 4 days a week. But we are still looking for one more monitor. Actually, by pausing, it gave us a little more time to try to look and fill that role.
So is there going to be 1 monitor per class, or what is the fully staffed?
Oh, no, we are hiring 3 at the moment. One will be in a classroom. One will be a specialist with Mr. Kimball, and then we have one that we're going to float, just to we know we're gonna have needs, so we hired a 3rd to
Cafeteria.
cafeteria, recess, wherever we need. And luckily we have a monitor that loves to be that kind of something new, different every day. So that piece of it should be okay. We just need to find that one more set person that is willing to do 4 days a week.
All right, thank you. And the other question that maybe Leslie would be able to speak to is, are the kids going to be required to take the SOLs this year? I had seen that they were, but.
Yeah, so required is a loose term. I think that they're encouraged, but we can't force people to come into the building. We haven't had any direct memos around SOLs just yet. Just today, one came out for the 8th grade writing SOL that the VDOE has granted an opportunity to do an alternative assessment, but Fairfax hasn't decided what they're doing yet. So we don't know officially around SOLs, and we probably won't until March, April would be my guess. What we do know is right now we are implementing the WIDA assessment, which is for students who are English learners, are English language learners. And we are doing that in person. And if you do have a student who speaks another language, they will receive a letter in the mail with an appointment to come to school. We're going to do that in the cafeteria. The largest group we have coming at a time is 12 students. So they'll be spread out very well more than 6 feet in the cafeteria. If your child rides a bus, transportation is going to be provided. If they are a walker or kiss and ride, parent will have to bring them. And it'll be myself, 2 of the ESOL teachers, our counselors, and our technology specialists will be proctoring that assessment. As we send those letters out, some parents are already saying, I'm not comfortable. And because of the year we're in, that's your choice as a parent. And we just mark it as COVID, and then they'll just be assessed next year. So it really just gives freedom to families to make the choice for what they think is best for their family.
Great.
But we want to make it as safe as possible at school, and that's just what we want everybody to know.
All right, so far those are the, oh wait, there's another question here. At what point I don't know if you would know this, the school board seems to be going back on factors, and they've decided that they're going to punt it to February 2nd to talk about it again. At what point do you think they're going to just call it virtual for the year? Or is there just no way of knowing that? Okay.
We actually were having that.
Your guess is as good as ours.
I know, we had that conversation just last week and just said that exact words, at what point do we just say the intentions were great, but let's just give everybody peace of mind and say, here's what we're doing for the rest of the year, so you don't have to worry about daycare, transportation, on a month-to-month basis. I think it is wearing on the teachers a little bit, in that a group or two will get geared up, and like we did our pre-K kindergarten training on the technology and concurrent instruction the first week in November. So we trained everybody on how everything. They're going to be able to pick it up quick, but by the time they come back, we're talking 4 months.
Well, they also too, like, just to add to that, just to give you guys some perspective, the kindergarten teachers that Monday before the school board met spent hours planning for concurrent instruction, because that whole week the kids were supposed to be back. So they spent their entire Monday planning, and then that night got told, oh, never mind. They had to totally change their lesson plans.
So, and so that it is, I would say I probably get 5 to 10 emails from staff members. We were having our countywide leadership updates meetings on Fridays. They've moved it since the new year to Thursdays. But the teachers would know that Leslie and I would be in these meetings, and by 12 o'clock, we would have 5 or 10 emails saying, what are we doing next week? Or, what are the new dates? So we can at least kind of wrap our head around that. I was glad they pushed it, gave us a hard date of this is when we were going to relook at it again, because at least we were able to give them a schedule and a calendar for the month of January. And they knew, okay, for January, this is what we're doing. We've told them 100 times, even though I know they want to, do not plan more than 2 weeks, because at this point, once you get past 2 weeks, something will inevitably change. So we're really on about a 2-week planning cycle for even our staff meetings. We spent a couple hours planning a staff meeting last week, and again, it was on Tuesday before the school board meeting that we did this, and by 10 o'clock Tuesday night, everything we were going to do for our staff meeting was, okay, well, let's change that. We don't need to stress people out or put that out there right now. So it is frustrating. I wish they would at some point give us that, just say, what, if we can't make it work by March, then, that'd be wonderful, actually. I think it would relieve a lot of anxiety about the rest of the year.
Are there any other questions, or should we let Ms. Malkowski say her piece? Once, going twice. All right, Leslie, it's you.
So I kind of already mentioned it about the WIDA assessment. That window was originally through middle of March. They're now saying they're going to extend it, I think, in hopes that people will be back in the building, because assessing when kids are in the building is a lot easier than trying to coordinate all of these buses and everything. I don't know what other assessments are going to come up. We know SOLs are coming. We're doing our AAP screening this week. So when does that come out, Chad? Like April, May, those letters will go out. So anything that comes up, just know that whether we're in school or not, a lot of this stuff is state mandated. And so we are required to do it. And then, like I said, it's the parents' choice whether they want to, if they feel safe bringing their child in. We are doing all of the protocols and everything within the building and to make sure everybody's safe, but definitely it's your choice. If you ever have questions or concerns or anything about testing, just feel free to shoot me an email, and we can have a separate conversation. Or if anybody has questions right now, I'm happy to answer them.
Or even about safety procedures when they do come in. We have had the monitors in our building doing walkthroughs twice prior to the break. And both times, I think they had to really search to find something that we should do or change or um, and so we're pretty confident. In fact, the feedback that we got was that we are very well prepared and ready to go. And Leslie and I, the first time we had this, we were like, well, isn't everybody? Kids at that point, it was, I think, the second time kindergarten was going to come back right there after the Thanksgiving break. And we were shocked that they said schools weren't ready because kids were supposed to be here on Tuesday and this was a Monday. And I I can only control what we can control. And as far as North Springfield goes, we are ready for kids. So, but I was very shocked at how some schools are struggling.
All right, did you guys have anything else? And if anyone comes up with any questions in the next couple of minutes, feel free to just type them into the chat or just speak up. It's fine.
Yeah, right now they do have, and I think probably by the time the weather warms up, when we look at April and May, I'm pretty sure that community use and some of that stuff will begin to relax. Right now, inside community use with the gym is really limited to the gyms. And that's really the amount of kids and coaches that they allow in there for basketball or whatever. It's very limited. Even outside, even if PTA wanted to do something outside, like courtyard or playground, we would be limited to 25 students through people rather through community use. But I do feel like, it would be probably pretty good, and, it would be great. I know we will still probably in the fall do a Beaver Blast Off, but to have some kind of, I don't know what we want to call it, block party, school party, end of the year, come get fresh air part, something outside where once those numbers where we can kind of do it, even if we had to do it by grade level, it would be so good to be able to get all of the kids together in each of the grade levels at least once, before the end of the school year. And, I just feel like if they loosen that up, we could definitely start planning something fun for, the community to kind of almost reset our emotional well-being. Because I think it really, Leslie and I have a whole different demeanor when we start seeing even the teachers coming back into the building to set up classrooms or whatnot, just having people other than ourselves to talk to all the time. It really does it drives the energy. So I'm hoping we can do that.
Yeah, let's make sure that we reconnect based on that, because the PTA would love to sponsor that. Do you see this message up here about from Amy about the school board meeting last week, that one of the superintendent's proposals was to have the principals decide school by school whether to open? Did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think a lot of that was originally. It's not equitable.
Yeah, it's not equitable, and I
think me, but
I think a lot of that was around the staffing concerns when that question was originally asked of Dr. Brabrand, and it was, I think, if I remember the question, it was really, I think, asked with a lens of, a team gets, has to go quarantine or whatever. At what point does a school, or, if we can't, let's say we didn't fill all of our monitor spots and we just can't make this model work. Do schools have some flexibility to start and stop time? Well, I think that was originally it, but then as they started talking, it was very clear that principals started to interpret that as, wait a minute, we have control, and then across the board, people did not want that responsibility of, wait, we're opening, you're not opening, you know, that. I
Okay,
think-
good. So I'm glad somebody was putting a stop to that line of.
Yeah,
Yeah, one of the
I
school board
think
members
that
stood up
would,
and say, wait a minute, that's okay. That's not okay. This is an equity thing. You can't have
yeah,
certain schools open and certain schools closed. And then a principal said, I want my kids in school as much as possible, but I don't think that's a decision that should be made on a school by school basis.
yeah. And even in our leadership meetings this past week, that whole idea of principal responsibility of making that call, it was said again that it's going to be a county decision, which it really does need to be.
I agree. Did anyone else have any other questions? I see a question here was answered about bringing, if you have any more Christmas gifts. So just put the card out because you might get some more.
That, yeah, I mean, that's fine. We actually found a number of them in which we hadn't really said too much about, our new library book drop-off bin, which we're getting some language to put out, stickers made and vinyl to put on there and kind of make it, and then we'll start using it. But we found some in there on the Monday we got back, so that worked too. But the office should be open its usual hours at this point. So.
All right, great. So if nobody else has any other questions, then there's just a couple more things on new business. There is a mini grant by the state PTA and sponsored by the NAACP, I think, for technology. And I can send out an email about how to apply for that if anyone is interested. It's for the students. Jen, did you have any more information about that?
We put it in the news you choose last week too. We can do it again this week.
Okay, so it's already been out then. Okay, and then I'll also send out, well, instead of that, since everyone's already known that, I will send out some resources we found from the state PTA. Well, Jen found them about, I don't remember what they were about, but they seemed interesting. So I'll send them with the links to, so we don't have to talk about them now. And the nominating committee, is anyone interested in volunteering for the nominating committee for executive board members for next year? We need 3 people on this committee. It can't be any current board members.
Can't we just do a redo? Like, does this year's count?
I
Can't you guys just do it again?
don't know if I can. This was a lot for me.
No,
So
it's a lot, but it'd be nice if we could be in a school.
Oh, it's
well, I
just
think
such
everyone else can be 2 years, so we can probably convince everyone else to re-up for next year. I'm not
Well,
allowed.
especially Jen and Dan, like they just jumped on.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
like they
We
have
need
to.
a new president-elect. That's the only one. We would need to get a new president-elect.
Okay, so this should be really easy to find 3 people to decide who
It
should.
would be that one person.
No, well, I mean, for the nominating committee, we need
No,
to
no, I know. Yeah.
vote on the one person or multiple people. So honestly, I'm gonna just ask some people to be on the nominating committee. It's not like a huge thing. So if you don't volunteer, then wait for me to ask you, and then you'll have to tell me no to my face. So get ready for that if you don't want to volunteer now. Any takers? Nope. Okay. So wait for it. Does anybody else have anything else? I think I've covered everything that I meant to cover.
Yeah, I had just one thing. I had an email today from Miss Fawcett, who's a first grade teacher and also running Eco Club. And she wanted to very much thank the PTA for the support that we've given them for both the Eco Club. And then she also said that first graders are loving Flocabulary, which we provided access to that for them. And the kids have loved it. So
All right,
I'm really
great.
glad.
That's good to hear. So thank you everyone here today for voting for this to the grants. Also, I'd like to get everything squared away by the next meeting regarding the fall grants so that we can move on to the spring grants because we've got more money and I want to give it to teachers. I want to put it in teachers' hands so we can use it on.
I did write down to remind 4th grade to get the book stuff taken care of.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And we did certain teachers. We have a few teachers that are doing before school remediation from like 8 to 8:30 or 8:15 to 9, 8:45, depending on the day. But we have three or four teachers that started doing running remediation groups, and we did get some of the CARES money from the federal government, and some of it was allotted to our school. So I'm using that money also to pay the teachers hourly to run remediation groups as well. I am 100% certain that this summer will probably be some kind of, I don't know if it'll be a summer school or enrichment remediation, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to try to do something this summer. If that money is still allotted to us, I'll spend it and we'll set something up as a school. But I think it would be great to get kids kind of back in over the summer if we can, especially if we do end up virtual for the rest of the year, even well into the spring. So we'll keep everybody posted as we get closer to the summer.
Okay, great. And could you also mention to all your teachers to start thinking about what they want to apply for the PTA grant for the?
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Okay, thanks. All right, does anybody have anything else? Otherwise, I'm going to shut this guy down. Not you, I mean the meeting, sorry.
This is why we need you to stay. Your efficiency is appreciated.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll come back in a couple years when my brother's not screaming in the background the whole time, or when we can be in school and so I can just leave him here with his dad. Hopefully he's not still screaming in a couple. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anybody have anything else to say? Thank you so much for coming, Chad. Thank you for being so open with the information. Leslie, we love seeing you. I'd like to thank everyone on the PTA board, obviously, except for myself. I really appreciate Jen's hard work. She's amazing. Maybe she should be the president-elect, just a thought. I think we're gonna need someone else for membership. So just saying. Okay, thank you very much, and we'll see you on the second Tuesday in February, whenever that is. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thanks. Have a good night, everyone.